Hi everyone. So I'm back. Been a while since I've done a video, since my mom's in town. So I don't get as much peace and quiet during the day anymore. Today is going to be a little special. There's some construction going on outside, right outside my front door, and I have no power for the next 15 minutes or so. So instead of using my normal electric kettle, I'm using a Nambu Teki Tetsubin from Japan. I bought this maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it's a modern type that can be used on the stovetop. It's got an external epoxy coating that makes it rust resistant to gas flames, so I can actually just throw it on my stovetop and I'm good to go. And I have to use an oven mitt to handle it because it gets incredibly hot. I'm going to use a Purion pot today, around 80 ml, I believe, and I have some Wednesday high fire Tieguanyin. This is fired right here in Hong Kong, and yeah, this is a new tea from my website at least, and it's from the same producers as the everyday Hong Kong high fire Tieguanyin that I also provide, which is one of my best selling teas. So this is the higher grade of that tea, and it's considerably more expensive. Well, it's still not a very expensive tea, but it is definitely a higher grade than the regular. So yeah, looking forward to drinking this on camera. It's the first time I brought one of my own sealed packs home, since I tend to just drink what I have at home, and I'm too busy to really bag anything for myself nowadays. So this should be an interesting session. And using my Dai pitcher and a little 25 ml cup. I prefer the smaller cups for Gong Fu Cha, since it's more traditional. And you get a nice concentrated brew when you brew traditionally with a high ratio. So I just preheated this pot under the faucet, and now we'll go ahead and heat it with actual boiling water. Shout outs to Dr. Mittens, Zealousy, and Alyssa from Manila. Thank you all for watching and for your support and your business as well. So this is nice and hot now, preheated. Let's pour that into the pitcher, give it a little rinse, even though I just rinsed it under the tap. I'm just a little OCD about dust in my tea pitcher. Okay, so there we go. And this is a 2018 Purion pot from the 3 teapot set, and it actually has a glazed lid, if you see that. So my older Purion pot didn't have that, and some of the new ones don't as well. So it tends to be specific. Interesting smell there. I can't quite describe it, but it's kind of marine in a sense, which I didn't expect. Not that this pot has any residual mold or anything in it. I'm pretty good about taking care of my teapots, so I'm not sure why it smells like that. My other more used Purion doesn't. It's got a different aroma to it. Okay, so I just cut some off. Ooh, I should have brought over my cha he so you could see what it looks like, but I don't have that handy. So instead, what I will do is use my shibo to show you the leaf. So I have around 11 grams in this bag. I don't think I'll need all of that for this little teapot. And this is the first time trying one of my high roast oolongs in this particular Purion pot. So I'm curious to see how it performs. There you go. That's a leaf, nice and dark. And this should actually work quite well to load the teapot, since the little spout will actually help me funnel the rolled leaf in. And you know what? I may actually need all of this leaf by the looks of it. Let's see. Yep, I'm going to need all of it, so that works out. I do like to use a high ratio for Gong Fu Cha, since I try to brew traditionally. And, there's actually some residual moisture in here, which I didn't expect because I haven't used this in a few days. And there is some dust sticking to the grooves and to the bottom of the shibo. Anyway, not too bad. It's pretty dry anyway. Not totally dry, but pretty dry. Just get some dust off my fingers. Don't want that on the rug, since it'll stain, I guess, if it gets moist or in the humidity. Okay, let's get rid of that. And let us rinse. Made more dust there than I wanted to. Let's just shake it to settle So the dust goes to the bottom of the teapot this way. I don't want dust on top because it will come out the spout. Underneath you get a nice punchy brew, and it doesn't, ooh, it smells good. Traditional Tieguanyin kind of aroma. It's got more oxidation than is normal for Tieguanyin nowadays, since this is old school stuff. Smells good. Okay, so let's go ahead and rinse that. And we'll pour in a circular manner, as is traditional with Kung Fu Cha. Or at least it's traditional now. But it does prevent the leaves from getting unevenly hit with hot water and over extracting in certain areas. I don't know if that necessarily matters, but it's something people tend to do with Chinese tea brewing. So let's go ahead and pour that out. I'm experimenting with keeping the curtains kind of drawn today, so it's a little darker. But I notice the camera is still, well, it looks lighter and darker on screen as I move back and forth, since the camera is focusing, auto-focusing on me as I move. Okay, let's open the teapot lid up a little bit, let it breathe. Yep, smells nice and roasty. And I'll leave some residual rinse in the pitcher and the cup. Okay. Now, smells buttery. Yep, definitely smells like Tieguanyin. Oh, the power's back, so I don't need my Tetsubin anymore. But I've committed to using it now. It's a full pot of water. So I will brew until the Tetsubin is done. And the Tetsubin does hold heat really well, so it works out well for brewing away from a power source. Okay. So I had the Tetsubin on a heat-resistant mat because this table is just MDF from IKEA, and I think it would get messed up. The top coating would anyway from direct heat. So I'm gonna give it another 30 seconds on my watch. Well, I could watch on screen. Let's just do that. So 7:44 on my clock here. It's going to be a little different for you guys since I have to trim off the first few seconds and probably the last few seconds as well to even things out. Oops, I emptied that cup a little sooner than I wanted to, so let's put some more back in there. Keep it nice and hot since tea does change as it cools. You're going to get a different effect. So I like to start hot and then let it cool down as I go. Okay, a bit of dust in there, that's alright. Let's put that in. Nice pour from this teapot. And the pitcher is actually the right size for the teapot, so that works out. Still keeping some residual rinse in the cup. There's a lot of dust at the bottom of the pitcher, and that's what ended up in the cup. But it should all come out when I tip the cup over now. So yeah, this is the first time I've had a serious oolong session on camera as far as traditional Hong Kong oolongs go. This one's a little lighter roasted than some of the offerings here, but it's definitely old school Hong Kong style, and it's done right in Hong Kong by a family that have roasted tea for a long time. So it's a great tea, one I didn't know about even though I've been buying from the family for years. I discovered it by accident. Now it smells very traditional roasty. A very comforting smell to me. It's almost like buttery toast, but with floral aroma since it's a slightly lighter roast than normal, and it's quite dark. Yeah, that's about right. The color right there. Scrape the cup, and let's see how this tastes from Purion. Oh yeah, could definitely use a little more muting, but not unpleasant at all. Some berry and mint notes. Buttery toast. A little bit sour, which is unusual for this tea. It's more sour than it would be in a more muting pot. But not unpleasant at all. Quite nice. And as I should have expected, I am starting to sweat already. It only took 1 cup to make me sweat. I think I'm going to go crack a window. Alright, give me a second. I will be right back. Stay tuned. So if you're wondering what I'm wearing around my waist, this is a lungi from the south of India. I usually wear these at home, different types from different countries. I kind of collect them actually, and this one was sent over by my uncle who lives in Kolkata. My mom grew up there, and this is quite a common Indian style lungi, and still kind of stiff. They're starched straight from the factory, and it takes a while for them to wear out, but they're very comfortable and great for a humid environment like Hong Kong. Not that I walk around in them because I get laughed at all day. People don't really do that here. Yeah, this is really nice actually in Purion. It's a bit more sour than I'd like, but the roast isn't intolerable by any means. Interestingly, it's more sour than I'd expect, even while using the Tetsubin, because Tetsubin are made of iron and do help with reducing bitterness and astringency. So clay choice does matter for sure. Okay. Still a little left here. As it cools, I get less of the berry and mint, so that's one reason to keep it hot. Okay, back with my oven mitt. Let's do another infusion, and this one will be a bit shorter since the tea's now had a chance to open up. The bitterness could also be because there's dust in the teapot. The leaf got a little crushed in my pocket on the way home. I forgot I had it in my pocket, and I stuck my hand in my pocket and crushed it a little bit, and then transferred it over to my backpack, and I realized I had it in there. Yep, still nice and hot. So I'm giving the teapot a little splash of boiling water to keep it hot, since that actually raises temperature a little bit, and you get a bit of a stronger infusion that way. And let's give it another 20 seconds on my handy dandy watch. That's something my brother would say. That's funny. Why did I say that? Yeah, I was talking to my brother about this the other day, and he has a lot of the same body language that I do. Apparently, what he does rubs off of me as well. And yeah, I think we've been asked if we were twins before. Very often, people ask him if he's older, even though he's 4 years younger than me, because he's taller than me and perhaps a bit more mature. I don't know. Debatable. Depends on what you constitute maturity to be, I guess. Well, he's a good guy. I love my brother, and yeah, I'm glad he's as good of a guy as he is, because not everyone's that lucky. We don't all have the best relationships with our siblings, but my brother is a good guy. Okay, let's shake this out. And it already smells like it's kind of brewed out. Interestingly, I didn't expect that. No, definitely a roaster as well, and the character will still be very evident for several more infusions. This tea isn't going to drop off that quickly. Nice and dark again. It's starting to cool down here, so I can just crack a window to cool down versus running air conditioning, and that is a lot more environmentally friendly, and it keeps my tea hotter as well. I don't need the air conditioning blowing on here. So quite a bit of remaining Tieguanyin character here. You could tell this is Qingxin. And it's got more oxidation than is usual for Anxi Tieguanyin nowadays. There still is old school Tieguanyin produced, but the market's flooded with stuff that tries to mimic Dongding poorly. Dongding is what we call it in Hong Kong. Cold Peak. It's the same exact name in Chinese, just pronounced differently. Well, Mandarin. Cantonese and Mandarin are quite similar sometimes. Some of the words are the same, just pronounced differently, or sometimes pronounced the same. But in this case, it's slightly different. But yeah, it's nice to drink old school Tieguanyin, and it's a bit of Good old school high fire at Tieguanyin can be hard to find. There's a lot of crap out there. Pardon my French. So we're quite lucky here that these businesses continue to thrive, or not necessarily thrive, but survive. Hong Kong certainly isn't cheap. But a lot of these old companies do own their property, which has insulated them from the sky high rents here. I haven't been as quite as lucky since we don't have property here. We didn't have property here. My dad made a decision not to purchase property in Hong Kong due to pressure from his brother, who insisted he buy in India instead, and that really wasn't the best decision. But well, it's nice to have property somewhere at least. Some people don't have that luxury or that security blanket, rather, right? Okay. More hot water on the Purion there. I don't know if you saw that, but I'm pouring water around the lid of the teapot so it runs down onto the body and keeps it nice and hot. And this tea is definitely waking me up. I had 2 sessions of green 2019 Dongding yesterday. Pretty decent stuff, good stuff actually. And I'll be offering that soon. I'm calling it the sweet Dongding because it has a sweeter profile than my other one, even though they're quite similar, since they're from different plantations. Oh, I totally forgot to time this. Let's give it another 30 seconds or so. I'll watch it on the clock here. So yeah, I don't mind if it's 10 seconds either way or whatever. It doesn't make that much of a difference with Tieguanyin. It does make a difference, but not an intolerable difference.